In the heart of Chicago, where skyscrapers pierced the clouds and the wind carried dreams as much as it did the chill, lived a young man named Ethan Carter. Ethan was no stranger to struggle. Born to a single mother in a cramped apartment on the South Side, he grew up knowing the weight of empty pockets and the sting of missed opportunities. But Ethan had something no one could take away: a fire in his soul that refused to dim, no matter how dark the days got. At 17, Ethan was a lanky kid with big dreams and a bigger heart. He spent his evenings flipping through library books, reading about entrepreneurs, athletes, and visionaries who turned nothing into something. His mother, Maria, worked 2 jobs, days at a diner, nights cleaning offices. She'd come home exhausted, her hands rough from work, but she'd always smile at Ethan and say, "You're gonna be somebody, Mijo. Don't let this world tell you otherwise." Ethan wanted to make her proud. He wanted to lift them out of the endless cycle of bills and late notices. But the path wasn't clear. High school wasn't easy for him. He wasn't the star student or the kid with the perfect GPA. He struggled with math, and his teachers often overlooked him, assuming he was just another kid who'd fade into the city's shadows. But Ethan had a gift. He could tell stories. Whether it was rapping with his friends in the school courtyard or writing short poems in his notebook, he had a way of weaving words that made people listen. One day, during his senior year, Ethan stumbled across a flyer for a citywide storytelling competition. The prize? A $5,000 scholarship and a chance to perform at a major event in downtown Chicago. For Ethan, that money wasn't just a number, it was a lifeline. It could help pay for community college, maybe even get his mom a week off work. He decided to enter, pouring his heart into a story about a boy who rose from the ashes of a tough life to chase his dreams. He spent nights crafting it, rewriting every line until it felt like it could move mountains. The day of the competition arrived, and Ethan stood in a packed auditorium, his hands trembling as he clutched his note cards. The room was filled with polished kids from wealthier neighborhoods, their confidence shining like their pressed clothes. Ethan, in his faded hoodie and worn sneakers, felt like he didn't belong. But when he stepped onto the stage, something shifted. His voice, steady and raw, filled the room. He spoke of struggle, of hope, of the love between a mother and son that could outshine any darkness. The audience leaned in, some wiping tears, others nodding as if they saw their own lives in his words. When the results were announced, Ethan's name wasn't called. Not for first, not for second, not even for third. He walked home that night, the city lights blurring through his tears. He felt like he'd let his mom down, like his dreams were just childish fantasies. At home, Maria saw the defeat in his eyes. She sat him down, her voice firm but warm. "Ethan, you stood up there and told your truth. That's more than most people do in a lifetime. You don't need a trophy to know you're enough." Her words stuck with him, but the sting of failure lingered. Ethan graduated high school and took a job at a local warehouse to help with bills. The work was grueling: long hours, heavy boxes, and a boss who didn't care about dreams. But Ethan didn't stop writing. In the early mornings before his shift, he'd sit at the kitchen table with a notebook, scribbling stories, poems, anything that let him breathe. He started posting short videos of his spoken word poetry on YouTube, using his phone's cracked camera. He didn't expect much, just a way to share his voice. One video, a poem called "The Fire Within," went up on a cold January night. It was raw, unpolished, filmed in his tiny bedroom with a flickering lamp. Ethan poured his heart into it, speaking about the struggles of growing up poor, the weight of doubt, and the unbreakable will to keep going. He didn't think anyone would see it. But then, something miraculous happened. A local influencer shared it. Then, another. By morning, the video had 1,000 views. By the end of the week, it had 10,000. Comments flooded in. "This hit me in the soul. Keep going, man. You're speaking for so many of us. Don't stop." Ethan stared at his phone, stunned. For the first time, he felt seen. He kept posting, each video more honest than the last, He shared stories of his mom's sacrifices, his own fears, and the dreams that kept him awake at night. His channel grew 10,000 subscribers, then 50,000. People weren't just watching, they were connecting. They saw themselves in Ethan's words, in his struggle, in his refusal to give up. But success wasn't a straight line. Ethan faced setbacks. Some videos flopped. Trolls left cruel comments, calling his dreams unrealistic, his accent too street. Doubt crept in, whispering that maybe he wasn't cut out for this. One night, after a particularly harsh comment section tore into him, Ethan almost deleted his channel. He sat on his bed, staring at the delete account button, his heart heavy. Then he remembered his mom's words. "You don't need a trophy to know you're enough." He didn't delete the channel. Instead, he doubled down. He started collaborating with other creators, learning how to edit videos, how to market himself. He took a free online course on storytelling, staying up late after work to study. He saved every penny he could, buying a cheap microphone and a second-hand camera. His videos got better, his stories sharper. By the time he turned 20, his channel had 100,000 subscribers. Brands started reaching out, offering small sponsorships. Ethan used the money to enroll in community college, studying communications, determined to hone his craft. One day, an email arrived that changed everything. It was from a major media company in Los Angeles. They'd seen his videos and wanted him to host a segment on their new inspirational web series. They flew him out for a test shoot. Ethan, who'd never left Chicago, stepped off the plane in LA, nervous but ready. The shoot went better than he could have imagined. His authenticity, his ability to connect, shone through. They offered him the job on the spot. But Ethan didn't forget where he came from. He moved his mom into a better apartment, one where she didn't have to worry about the heat shutting off in winter. He kept making videos, now with a bigger platform, telling stories that lifted others up. He spoke at schools, sharing his journey with kids who looked like him, who felt like the world didn't see them. "Your story matters," he'd tell them. "Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't." Years later, Ethan stood on a stage in Chicago, not far from where he'd competed in that storytelling contest. This time, he wasn't a nervous kid in a hoodie. He was a man who'd fought for his dreams and won. The audience was packed, not just with strangers, but with his mom, his friends, and kids from his old neighborhood. He told a new story, one about a boy who climbed out of the dark, not because he was stronger than anyone else, but because he refused to stop trying. When he finished, the room erupted in applause. As he stepped off the stage, a young girl approached him, clutching a notebook. "I want to tell stories like you," she said, her eyes bright with possibility. Ethan smiled, seeing himself in her. "Then do it," he said. "Write your truth. The world needs it." That night, as Ethan walked through the city he loved, he looked up at the skyline. The lights glitter like stars, and for the first time, he didn't feel small beneath them. He'd climbed his mountain, not because it was easy, but because he believed in the fire within him. And in that moment, he knew his story wasn't just his own. It was a beacon for anyone who dared to dream, no matter where they started.